Good afternoon. Today I'll be demoing to you how to use the major project, uh, TP Engineering School major project Excel files and scripts. So you should be receiving a you should be receiving a folder that looks like this. So you'll want to be opening this file first, skeletonprojects.xlsn. So this is a file that we have open here, and you should receive it like this, which is completely empty with just the columns. And the first thing you're going to do is go to the input sheet and fill out this table. So you can even add diplomas and add or remove diplomas if you wish. You can change the number of students, months, any of these variables if you want to change, you can also change them. So first thing you're going to do is click Generate Skeleton Projects. If you go back to the master sheet, you can see that it creates the project IDs. Each row is one student, so every 3 rows is one project. As you can see, the project ID repeats itself 3 times, so this will be a student. So the student name will be here, student matrix number. This will be added in later on in the diploma level. So you will have this, and the next thing you will do is click on Generate Diploma Files. So as it generates diploma files, I will demo to you in this demo only with the mechatronics design diploma. So you will see how the mechatronics design data goes to the diploma level, to the supervisors and judges, and how it comes back into 2 different Excel files. So I will show that flow, and you can use that for every diploma, every supervisor, judge. So just give it a moment to finish. So this is what a diploma file looks like. You will basically have the same thing as earlier with the skeleton projects, but just with the diploma. So this is all the projects for the mechatronics design. So based on this demo, there are 5 projects right now under mechatronics design. So when you run the create diploma file, you will get these folders. So for example, you will see mechatronics design. It has scripts which you don't need to touch, as well as the mechatronics design file. Now, when you send this to the diploma heads, you'll need to make sure that there is a copy of this. You can rename it to have the diploma name inside here. You can rename it any way you want, but make sure that you know that this is a student assessment file. It should look like this. So there will be this, as well as the input will look like this. I'll show you how to use this later on, but make sure to have a copy of this later on. So I will just copy and paste it inside, and you will also need to make sure. So we will be including in this 2 example files that you will need to include in each diploma file. So for example, this is the student information file. This is only has the mechatronics design information, but you will obviously need to change it based on the number of students and the particular students that each diploma has. So the diploma should have a file that has this exact format with all the students that apply, the admissions, the CWA, the CCU, all of this. So you need to have a file like this for the student information itself. Then for the script to know what groupings the students are in, you will need this MP group file example. So you can obviously rename those files to however you want, but you will need this file. We will leave this in as an example, but you will need this file to for the script to know which group is which group it is in. So I will just close this. So uh, just to make sure that you need to make sure that these files are inside. So I'll just copy, paste, and this one as well. Make sure that on the diploma level, uh, yeah. So make sure that on the diploma level, these files are included in as well. So as you can see, these are all the files that you should have in when you send off this folder to the diploma heads. So first thing that you want to do with this is to fill up all the tables that are in here. So you don't need to touch this at all. Just make sure that these are filled up so you can have as many supervisors as you want. Technology areas and number of projects should not exceed the number of projects here. So the maximum number of technology areas for mechatronics design, which has only 5 projects, can be 5 because there can only be one technology area per one project per technology area if it is the maximum number. However, if there are less than 5 technology areas, you can have more than one project per technology area. Obviously, this is a very low number. There will be more than 5 projects in a diploma in other examples. This is just for this demo, the example that we have today. So for this, we'll just put in some dummy data just to show an example. So in this demo, I'll be using 3 technology areas as an example, and I will have 2 of them have one project and one will have 3 projects allocated to it. Work locations, this is for the judges later on. So we'll just input the options for the work locations that you can choose later on in the drop-down list. Judges, you can add as many judges as you want. Same thing with the supervisor. So we'll just put in some. So here, what we will do is make sure that once these two files are inside, make sure to copy the name. Make sure that the file format is correct as well, CSV and XLSX. So right now this is the group file. And this one is the student information file. So this is the file with all of the students regardless of their groups. Make sure that you have those inside. Click on assign. So what assign does is it will algorithmically assign a student and the groups and the students to each project. So as you can see, this is what that looks like. It will also give the technology area to each project. And moving on, you will click on add supervisors and project titles. So the project title will look like this. You can change it later on with no issue. And then you will have these 2 drop-down lists with the supervisors. So for this case, I'll just put one. I will put one example of John, and the rest we can put as Tom. Make sure that uh, when you are filling out the supervisors, that the supervisors don't differ from project to project because each row is one student. So you need to make sure that in each project they have the same supervisor. Now you can also do the same for working locations. For this case, we'll just put the working locations all as D. You can, of course, make the working locations different. And then you will want to run allocate judges. So allocate judges will automatically just assign a judge, and it will make sure that if there is a same supervisor and a judge, it will not assign the same person to supervise and judge the same project. So yeah, now the next thing to do is create the supervisor file. So there's only going to be 2 because of what we put, and it's an example of how the supervisor file will look like. We will get back to this in a short moment. But basically, all the supervisor needs to do is fill this out and send it back to the diploma. This is the John one. Yes, and the second thing you do is create judge file. Okay, so right, so it will create the judge files and it automatically codes them. So just to give you an example of what the MD judge file will look like, it looks like this. So the awards are a drop-down list. So just to give you an example of how the drop down works. So let's say these are all the students. These are the project IDs you can see. So there are two projects that are under Jack. So we'll just assign randomly here. So each will have two of each, two merit awards, two commendations, and two without any awards. And you just click on create awards file, and what you will get is a file with no awards, merit awards, and commendation. So this is a file that you can just send, the judge can just send over to the diploma, and you can refer to this as you wish. So that is that. You can refer to that. And so from here, what we'll do is I'll give you an example of how to so you have the diploma file here, diploma SAC that I mentioned to keep inside the file. So let's open it. Let's just fill out the supervisor file, supervisor and judge files. Just fill it with some dummy data just to demonstrate how you would merge back and get the data. So I'll just fill this up with some dummy data for now. So this is an extra line, we don't need this. But obviously the supervisor will meticulously fill in the correct values for all of this based on how they look at it. As you can see also, so we split up all the different components, but there are also at the end. So for example, pre-MP assessment has both the work plan and Gantt chart as well as the learning assignment that makes up the pre-MP assessment. So they will allocate these first and then combine it into the pre-MP assessment. For now, this is just dummy data just so that we have something. And I'll do the same thing for the other supervisor over here, just to give you an example of what it should look like. Okay, and same thing with the judge. So I will open up judge file. Actually, just to separate the judges, I'll put this as a different value. And for the judge file, when it's merged back, basically only these two values will be taken back into the diploma file, student assessment file, which I will show you soon. And just make sure that we go through all the judges files so that you can see it working. Just for time's sake, I'm just gonna fill these two out because they are the only ones that will be merged back, but the real judges will actually fill in all of this themselves. Yeah, and there's one more. Okay, so next thing you want to do is open up the diploma SAC file from inside here. So I'll just get rid of the one that is here. And I'll open the one that is inside the diploma file, the diploma folder. Should be opening up now. It will look like this. So this already has some data in it. You will not receive any data like this inside when you receive it. So so let's just give you an example of, so right now this file is completely empty, so this should be true. We will be assigning, let's start with Tom, MP supervisor. So supervisor, you can leave this empty for now, and you're going to want to hit merge supervisor file. So as you can see, it takes all the relevant data from the supervisor file and puts it in here. And you can see the judge grade and judge remarks on here. So as a practice, I will recommend that you go through all of the supervisor files. In this case, we only have two, so let's do the other one. And earlier it was empty, so we put as true, but for now, we'll just put it as false because there is data here. So to let the script know that there is already data inside here, put this to false, click merge supervisor file again, and as you can see, it merges John's data as well. Now, what you want to do is start merging the MP judges file. So let's start with Jack. Judge, and let's merge judge file. Now, as you can see, these are all the students and the projects that Jack was in charge of. And as you can see, the twos represent the values that Jack had put in. As you notice, we put 2 for the judges so that you notice the difference. Same thing here. Let's do Chris. Which judge file, and so on and so forth. So you can you will essentially keep doing this over and over again until all of the supervisors and all of the judges are done. For the judge file, as you notice, you don't need to put file as empty because you will only be running the judge file after all the supervisor files are placed in already. Yeah. So then from here, how it will merge back to the final version. So as you will introduce to you, let me just get rid of space. So there is the major project student assessment file here. So you're going to want to take why I recommended that you rename this diploma SAC file is because merging it back, you want to keep track of each different diploma. And it also, you don't want to confuse the script by having all the same file name for each different diploma. So I'm just going to move this over to MP scripts. So later on, sorry, I will just Control S this. Once it's saved, just close it so that you can shift it. So when it reaches the head of the major project, will be in charge of the final master sheets and master workbooks. You'll want to move from all the diploma student assessment files from inside out here where the major project student assessment is. Open this up. So as you can see, it looks almost identical, but this will be for merging only the diploma student assessment files. So here we'll just, since we only have one example of a diploma for you, we'll only be doing this once, but the way that this file empty works is the same. So you just put in true. If you are doing multiple diplomas, you'll put in false after this run. And then, make sure that the file name is exactly correct. If you, my recommendation is that you click rename here. It was correct the other time. So just to demonstrate, you click rename and copy it so that you have less margin of error. And as you can see, it merges all the diploma file. And later on, when you add in different diploma SAC files, just make sure to put this value to false. And you will just keep doing that until all 11 diplomas are added in. And you should, these obviously will be filled in if you fill in all of the judges. In this demo, we didn't. But the final thing that you will need to do after this is from the, just to make sure that right here, this file, the mechatronics design file. Let's just open it up. So as you can see, it now has all of the inputs here. We'll save this, close it up, and make sure that it is out into the open with empty scripts. As it is right here, let's open it up again. And in the input file, just click if you go to skeleton projects. As you can see, it copies everything here. So later on, you'll just do this same process with all of the different diplomas, and this should be completely filled with all of the information that the diploma has put in. And in the end, you will be left with the skeleton projects file, which will have all of your information, and you will have the major project student assessment file, which will have all of the students' assessment information. And that is all for the demo. You can apply this flow with all of the diplomas, all of the students, all of the judges, and it should work just the same way. Thank you so much.